How's it going, Ram fans? And welcome back to another edition of CTV Sports. I'm Mike Walsh.
Tuesday is always a good day here at CTV. I'm Leah Cackowski, and we've got lots on tap for you tonight.
Basketball season for both the men and women is officially in full swing as the men are tipping off from Moby just a few minutes ago.
On the other hand, Mike, programs like tennis and cross country are quickly bringing their seasons to a close.
And Neliah Rodriguez joins us to give us an in-depth preview of the upcoming border war before joining us for some pick'ems.
All that and more right here on CTV Sports, which starts right now. Broncos country, let's ride, is clearly a term that Boise State isn't familiar with, as the Broncos went down in 4 sets to the Rams thanks to CSU's record-breaking performance. Colorado State leads the Mountain West in hitting percentage, and it's no secret as to why. Neliah Jones was the name of the night, as she marked a 4-set single-match school record with 31 kills on 55 hitting attempts. Her new accolade didn't go unnoticed, as Jones is this week's Mountain West Offensive Player of the Week, as well as CSU's Waterpick Student Athlete of the Week. Head coach Emily Cohen and setter Emery Herman explained her dominance, saying, "Neliah was unbelievable, like truly unstoppable. There's been a couple of games where teams have gotten beats on her as the match went on, but today she just stayed powering through." Cohen explained while Herman stated, "Fair to say I like having her on my side of the net. Whenever she gets in that mode where she's just going for it, I'm going to keep giving her the ball because I know they aren't going to stop her." And Neliah Jones wasn't the only Ram to put up impressive numbers, as Karina Lieber and Kennedy Stanford joined the record-breaking party. In the second set, Stanford hit back-to-back aces to give the Rams a comfortable lead of 23-13, making it to triple digits and into the school record holding position for the modern scoring format at 101 career aces. Lieber joined alongside Jones and Stanford in breaking records with the most amount of sets played as a Ram of 497. The fifth-year senior passed Sydney Cox, as Cox's 496 set record hasn't been touched for nearly 40 years, who played from 1985 to 1988. So what a night for the green and gold. Best of all, they punched their ticket to the Mountain West tournament that starts on November 27th. Here's what the bracket will look like. As of right now, Colorado State is sitting pretty comfortable. They are the 1 seed, so they're going to get a bye in that first round. And it's looking like they're probably going to play either Fresno or Utah, sitting at 4 and 5. But again, this is all kind of going to change a little bit as there's still 4 games left of the season. But they might have a chance to see either the Spartans or SDSU or Boise in the championship if they keep going forward. So with all of that, CSU just have 4 regular season games left to stay at the top of the list going into that tourney.
And while teams like volleyball continue their season, women's tennis has reached the end of theirs, concluding their fall season this past weekend at the San Diego Classic. Dropping all 3 of the finals matchups, the Rams didn't exactly win this one, but in the eyes of their coach Miley Tran, the team had so many mini victories, with big wins from Victoria Zajinskaya and Maria Dobrova and some pretty promising play even in their losses. The team got a better idea of who will be starting in the lineups next semester and who maybe needs some more work in the winter. One thing that is for certain, though, the Rams tennis team will be back. It will just have to wait a few months when Montana visits Fort Collins on January 24th.
Colorado State swim and dive fell short in this year's border war here in Fort Collins with a 159.5 to 140.5 score favoring Wyoming. While the Rams consistently have top swimmers place, the depth in the lineup wasn't enough in Saturday's meet. The green and gold have fell to 1 and 3 in duels this season, the most losses since going 1 and 4 back during the pandemic-altered season of 2020. Head coach Christopher Werder told CSU Athletics that, "We're going to have to face some tough realities. We can only go to the top well with our top-tier swimmers so many times, and they are coming through, absolutely coming through. That's not to disrespect any of those kids who are second, third, or fourth position, but the demand on them is going to be higher. We can't win an event and then come in 5th. We have to put out some more depth in some of those events." However, these Rams showed out as Lexi Tritley won both the 50 and 100 free, and Tess Weinray the 100 and 200 back. 3 more swimmers also took first on the podium, being Erin Dawson, Azalea Shepard, and Maisie Barbosa. As a group, the green and gold won the 200-yard medley relay as well. The Rams have little over a week to rest up as they head to the Hawkeye State for the Iowa Invitational on November 21st.
And now, Leah, before we get a full preview of the border war from Neliah, let's talk about what else is going on in Ram country.
Agreed, Mike. To start things off, we got to go to something we still have to talk about later on into the show, as there is a men's basketball game going on right now over at Moby against Denver.
Make sure to stay tuned for that live update, but after that, the men's basketball team is not done for the week, as they play at Ole Miss on Saturday, the current number 25 team in the country.
And that's not all the basketball for the Rams, as the women's team faces off with both BYU on Wednesday and Columbia College on Saturday.
And keeping it on the hardwood, women's volleyball will play 2 of their last 4 regular season games this week with matchups against both Fresno State and San Jose State.
And last but absolutely not least, cross country travels to Reno for the NCAA Mountain Regionals, looking to keep proving their own against the odds.
And I think that just about does it outside of the biggest game of the week, right?
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Mike. So let's send it over to Neliah Rodriguez for a full rundown on the border war.
Thanks, guys. There's obviously so much exciting news coming out of Ram Country this week, but one story that deserves its own spotlight is the legendary border war, CSU versus Wyoming. Ram fans, I'm Neliah Rodriguez, and it's time to dive right in. Now, this rivalry is significant for being one of the oldest in college football history, dating back to 1899. With a competition this long-standing, you might be wondering what is keeping it so relevant today. It's not just about bragging rights. The winner of this intense battle takes home the bronze boot. The bronze boot belonged to Army Captain Daniel J. Romero, who was a Pueblo native who wore the boot while serving in the Vietnam War. The iconic award has come to symbolize sacrifice, service, and the many lives lost in defense of our country's freedom. As a trophy, the bronze boot carries significant meaning, making it one of the most valued prizes in the rivalry. Currently, the award is in the hands of Wyoming, who has held onto it for the last 3 seasons. In November of 2023, Colorado State and Wyoming met again at War Memorial Stadium in Laramie, where the Cowboys came out on top, defeating the Rams 24-15. The Colorado State Rams struggled to find consistency last matchup in 2023, with turnovers proving to be a major obstacle to victory. CSU quarterback Braden Fowler Nicolosi, who had shown more promise in the earlier season, had a difficult game, throwing 2 interceptions and committing a fumble in the 4th quarter. But the issue wasn't just offensively. The Rams also struggled defending the Cowboys in the first half. This week, we bring the border war to Canvas Stadium. Ram fans, bring energy, bring Colorado love, as Colorado State brings in a more polished team with intense momentum to bring the bronze boot back home. That is all I have right now, Ram fans, regarding this intense border war taking place November 15th at 6 p.m. here in Fort Collins. And after a short break, we will talk more sports.
After 2 years?
You gotta be kidding me!
Okay, no.
Robbie.
Seriously, do you have anything you can use against the dragon?
I can do fireball. That'll do a lot of damage.
Yeah, to all of us.
Well, I
We're in a 4-foot group.
I'm sorry. What else do you want me to do? I can
Okay. Hold on. All right. Wizard, what do you do? Wizard?
I don't think I'm into this kind of stuff fully. I can't do it. Hey, I think I'm pretty anxious. I'm just.
No, we can pause this.
We can take a break. Let me go get some water.
Give us another day.
Yeah.
Yes, we're good.
Welcome back from the break, Ram fans, into a different setting than what we're used to.
That's right. We're going to be breaking down all things basketball, as the men's and women's teams have already had a busy opening week with back-to-back doubleheaders.
Starting with the first game of Friday, the women's matchup against Oregon State was a back-and-forth battle. This was so exciting to see, as there's a lot of new faces on this team.
And we'll talk a lot about them, but the sister duo of the Ronziniaks were just amazing in this game.
They completely dominated this entire court, took control of the offense, and we're seeing it right here. We're getting other plays in there like LeMay, but honestly, it was just the two of them the entire time.
It was LeMay, it was Strom, it was Semental had a nice layup on the fast break. They were just feeding the Ronziniak sisters, though, and it really just felt like Ronziniak all day.
All day, and they lived in the paint. They're driving past defenders, and this is a team with a lot of height, too. on Oregon State, and they just proved to be able to dominate the entire time.
Right. And it's like we're talking about, it's absolutely no secret that this sister duo of this season they hit all their marks, and they hit them pretty much by a landslide. I mean, what did you say, 50 points total, was it?
Yep.
Out of the 70, what did we score?
They had 50 out of the 65 points, both of those sisters.
I mean, let's just take a look at their stats.
Yeah.
Just absolutely ridiculous stats.
With
for
the two of them, this is on the Oregon side of things, but we'll go back to the Ronzik sisters in a little bit, but we're talking about Oregon's height, right? They had 3 players.
And we don't have that.
No.
Emma is the closest thing we have height-wise, and that's a 6'4", almost 6'5". 3 players over 6'5".
Over 6'5".
Definitely the advantage for Oregon State.
Yeah, and Oregon State had more of those offensive threats overall in this matchup, but CSU, they took the cake with the 2 players.
They just shot better overall. The Ronziaks shot the ball from everywhere. You saw them from 3 in those highlights. You saw them in the paint. They just couldn't stop making them.
No, and again, while Oregon had 3 players contributing most of their points, it was just the 2 on there. So let's hear what Coach Ryan Williams has to say about the sisters.
They were having fun, and they fed off of each other, and it was nice to see the ball go in early. We've really had some struggles in the first quarter, but they both came out with the right mindset, a can-do mindset, it's going in mindset, that sort of thing. And, I think they do feed off of each other well, and you even see that in practice. They both usually have really good practices on the same day. Not that they have bad practices, but just something in that Ronzik water, I guess.
So the first 2-0 program we get to praise of the basketball season. So now let's look at another.
Oh, I totally agree. The men's team that has the exact same record, but their second game was more like the women's first, as it was an absolute nail-biter.
Yeah, going into overtime with Tennessee State, I think most Ram fans in Moby Arena were shocked.
I think they were definitely shocked, but in this one, it was a new name that was the hero for the Rams, as freshman Kyle Jorgensen scored 7 straight points in OT to get the green and gold to win. And what's more, he also won the Freshman Player of the Week for the entire Mountain West Conference, as he had to step in and fill a big role with starter Jalen Crocker-Johnson fouling out early, getting 5 fouls with about 10 minutes left. Jorgensen was amazing, but he wasn't the only star of this night.
Yeah, that's right. While Kyle's play was awesome, the Rams had 2 players who shine a little brighter, with Nick Clifford and Jalen Lake, proving why they are 2 of the Rams' top hoopers, with Clifford putting up 31 points and 13 rebounds, and Lake continuing his hot start with 22 on the night. This duo is in for a big season as leaders of this team. And I know both of us watched this one. Mike, how do you feel about this really close one coming from the Rams?
I think this was a little scary. I think for a lot of Ram fans, they just didn't expect Tennessee State to do this to them, to take them to overtime. A crazy 3-pointer, by the way, from Tennessee State, tied up. So all props to them.
Right.
Just for the Rams, I don't think they were ready for this team.
They came in a little cold. It took them a while to get going with that. And, if it comes down to it, a win is still a win.
Yeah,
but
I mean, if it means anything, Neek and Jalen looked really good. Kyle looked really good. Just they had the fouling problems with people like Jalen Crocker-Johnson. That takes away your starting center.
Right.
So there were obviously those issues, but still, a team like CSU should probably be beating Tennessee State by a little bit more.
Coming in with a little bit more of maybe preparation, more confidence with that, but at least they did get the dub.
Right. And with that 2-0 record, both the men's and the women's team will have some solid momentum going to their matchups this week. And the men's team could use that energy right now, as they are currently playing at Moby Arena. And for the first time in a long time here on CTV Sports, we have a live shot at that game. Ella, take it away.
Thanks, guys. I'm Ella Fredrickson outside of Moby Arena, where the Rams were absolutely hoping for a hotter start in comparison to what we saw against Tennessee State. Now, when you look at the general box score of what's going on, it does look in favor of the Rams. However, when you dig a little bit deeper, there are definitely concerning aspects to this game. Jalen Lake is the only one putting points on the board. Neek Clifford is actually not even on the court right now. Now, Jalen Lake has been able to put up 14, which has kept that Rams lead at 36-30 right now. But if he's the only one scoring for the rest of the game, I have a bad feeling that the outcome is not going to be as positive. With about 50 seconds left in that first half, I'm hoping Medved has some words of advice for the rest of the team that isn't putting up as many high numbers as they should be. In terms of rebounds and assists, nothing drastic going on either. Neek is able to get a few boards helping out the offense to put it back up. We have other names like Bowen that are moving the ball around to get those points. But unfortunately, the 45% shooting percentage not taking advantage of the fouls that Denver are putting onto CSU, and just looking slow without leadership is really, really, really taking a toll on the Rams. Now, you guys mentioned Jalen Lake and Neat Clifford. Those are our names, and when one of them is the only one succeeding, that's just not going to look good for the rest of the season. So hopefully they can hold on to that slim margin that is now just down to 3 points and pull it together for the second half. But right now, definitely a little bit concerning. Back to you guys.
Yeah, little different seeing Neat Clifford not have a presence tonight.
I would not expect Jalen Lake to be outscoring him at this point. But, I mean, at least Jalen Lake's doing good.
And it gives other guys, like we said, a chance to come in, have a chance when their leader is not doing as well.
This is when you need scores like Keishan Williams.
Yes.
You just need other guys to score outside of those two.
Absolutely. Well, that is enough basketball for right now, so we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, it's all things football, so stay around.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. It's been a few weeks since we last took a look at the standings scoreboard, so let's take a look at it.
I love looking at the scoreboard, me personally. I mean, I think I have a pretty big lead right now.
Mike, you are the reigning Pick'ems champion for a reason, and we were all hoping, but we still have time though.
Right.
There's still time left.
Right. I think I was at 34 if I can remember. You're at 25 and you're at 17.
I'm on every other week.
That's what I'm saying. That's why each week I say that. I'm just like, it doesn't seem fair just because I'm on every show. She missed the one show. Right.
Even so, I hold myself to a little bit of a high standard. But with the year coming to a close, there isn't much time to make up ground. So I know we normally start things off in Broncos country, but Wyoming coming to campus this Friday, I don't think it's any other reason why we shouldn't talk about the game
with
first.
that awesome preview, we have to go there first.
Yeah, Neliah, let's hear.
Colorado State, obviously.
Okay,
Love it.
good.
Love it.
Yep.
We have so much momentum going into this game. We have a chip on our shoulder. I mean, we made it. We're bowl eligible.
Right.
It's going to be a good game.
I also just think there really isn't much sage about this Wyoming team.
I just don't think this Wyoming team is very good. They did have a very good week the last few weeks. They have a freshman QB that won Mountain West Freshman Player of the Week. So they look decent in that game. But again, they're 2-7, so they have 7 other games where they looked bad.
Right.
So I think they come into Canvas, and I think CSU, just the fans are amped up. They keep trying to tell us that they want to sell out Canvas. So I think this will be a huge game.
Well, it's interesting to see how much Colorado State has shifted the way that we play. Like, Fort Air Raid was sold with Jay Norvell.
There is no Fort
Air Raid. Avery Morrow has 8 touchdowns.
Yep.
Braden Fowler-Nicolosi has thrown 7. So it's interesting. We're taking advantage of the ground game, especially, with Torrey being out. So I don't see any way Wyoming comes out with a win.
It's working. You can't complain about it. It's definitely different.
Definitely.
It's working.
Yeah, absolutely.
One of my top games of the weekend, the Dogs. I'm taking the Dogs this week.
Okay.
I didn't take them last week. I took Ole Miss over them. But this week, I feel like they're at Georgia. They have to get a win here. I don't think Tennessee is really going to hold up with them, but that's just my opinion.
What do you guys think, Leah?
I'm going with Tennessee just based on because of how the Dogs played against Ole Miss.
Okay.
I just also feel like they don't have anything really going offensively. Like, they do have a good QB.
Beck's been bad. Yeah, I agree.
Well, I wouldn't even say it's Carson Beck. I would just say he doesn't have any reliable big pass catchers.
Okay.
For me, I am going to try to put faith back into Georgia on this one. They went from 3rd to 11th, which is a tough blow after that loss. And
this Ole Miss team is so weird.
They
lose to Kentucky. Then the game against Tennessee, that was a good game. They beat Georgia. It makes no sense.
It doesn't make any sense to me. And but again, we've been talking about having that home field advantage, and that's what we've been saying.
I mean, LSU last weekend.
That was terrible. But in this game, it counts. Yeah, I'm gonna go Georgia for this one.
No. Roll Dogs.
Okay, fair enough. Last college we'll touch on tonight, some more Mountain West play. We have Boise State versus the Spartans. Mike, what do you think?
I think I have the controversial pick here. I think pretty easily. I mean, the Broncos are ranked 13th in the country, so like they're a really good team. I just, for some reason, I feel like they have to get upset somewhere along the line. And looking at their schedule, this is the only team that really can upset them. And we need to talk about Nick Nash.
Yeah.
He is first in the country in receiving yards, catches, and receiving touchdowns. I mean, he's going for the triple crown in all of college football, and no one's even talking about him. And he was a quarterback. So just the full story with this kid and with this team, I think San Jose State deserves this win. And it's at San Jose State, too. So
my argument, the only reason Colorado State beat San Jose State this year, and that game was a little bit close, but I think Boise overall just has more depth, especially with Madsen as their quarterback. And even though they're away, I just think they go into this game, but maybe they, like we talked about, they need to go in with preparation, not taking anything lightly, like what you just said.
It's a long shot. I'm not going to lie to you. It's
but it's not. I don't think it necessarily is, because upsets are bound to happen, especially even late in the year.
They need at least one. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think this will move us up in the score for sure, Leah. I don't see Spartans making this upset. I mean, they may have one good player, but all around Boise State is very well rounded.
Yeah.
So
I don't see. For me, Boise. I just have
that's fine. It's definitely a long shot.
I'm trying to see your side though, because it's
honestly I don't see my side that much, but I like to pick an upset every week, so this is what I'm going
to. All right, fair enough. Well, now we're gonna talk Denver. So Mile High hosts the Falcons this week, and I'm gonna go with the Broncos. That Chiefs loss.
Wow, that hurt.
That was.
But you got to think about it. It is the Kansas City Chiefs, right? I mean, what an unlucky way to end the game.
Yep.
And I think they're at home. They host the Falcons. I just think they are going to take this one, being home, bouncing back with, they're playing arguably the best team right now in the entire NFL, playing the Chiefs, coming back home with that kind of we were there.
Basically beating them and just losing on the dumbest thing possible.
Right. Yes. So I think I'm going to go with Broncos for that.
Okay. I'm right there with you. I think that they played great, and it just shows it goes to show that they're coming around offensively, and then their defense is just super strong, and it stays strong, and that showed against that Kansas City.
Yeah. And I'll tell you, the Broncos laid out the blueprint for how you beat the Chiefs. You just have to finish the game.
Yeah, exactly.
You need that last minute of finishing the game and making that field goal. But I think they gave them the blueprint. I think I'm going to use it again when we talk about the Chiefs versus Bill game this week. But I think this game shows a lot about who the Chiefs are, and I think this is ultimately when we see the Broncos take a win, and then later maybe the Chiefs take a loss.
And then we'll see. Who will it be? Who will be? When we're talking about upsets, who's it finally going to be for the Chiefs?
Hopefully. But another anticipated one for the week. The Ravens are trying to snap some Steeler momentum. I love the Ravens.
Yeah.
I love the Ravens, and I really want to pick them, so I'm going to go with them here. But I think this is going to be a good game.
It's going to be a great game. It is such a rivalry game.
Yep, it is.
As well. I remember we had a neighbor, and they adopted a dog, and it was named Raven, and they were Steelers fans, and they had to change the name because they were like, that's not going to be in our house.
Of course.
But I really do think the Steelers being at home, this is such Lamar Jackson, you can talk all day on the Ravens. He... so unbelievable right now, but I'm going to go with the Steelers having that home field advantage.
I'm getting a little deja vu to you last week picking the Steelers, and all of us picked the Commanders, but Leah, let's see what you
I'm right there with you, Mike. I'm agreeing Ravens for sure. I mean, I think that they're one of the most dangerous offensive teams, and the Steelers, I feel like they have the weakest team chemistry, and although they are home, I just don't see them pulling out a win over the Ravens.
I can't believe I'm going to say this, but Russell Wilson is actually the reason why I'm picking him right now.
He looks good.
He has 737 yards in only 3 games.
Yeah.
That's pretty legit.
No, he definitely looks good. I just think the Ravens team as a whole is better, and the Ravens need this more.
Yeah, they do need it.
The Steelers are kind of a weird team where they're in the playoff race, not in the playoff race. The Ravens are for sure going to be a contender. They need to win this game against a division opponent.
We're going to see.
Be a good game. After a heartbreaking loss for the Broncos, we talked about that. The Bills are the next team looking to stop Kansas City. Do you think they're going to do it? Mike, Leah?
I mean, I think me and Leah are agreeing.
Yeah.
Here. I think we're both going Bills here. Again, I think this game just showed how you beat the Chiefs, and also it just killed the momentum of the Chiefs.
I wouldn't say so. I think going against the Denver Broncos, almost losing.
Yep.
I feel like that's a kick in the stomach for the Chiefs.
Too.
Yeah, at home. So they're going to come back fiery. They're going to have great momentum. and they're going to beat the Bills. They're going to give the Bills the whooping that they wanted to give the Broncos.
At Buffalo?
That's what
I
I'm
was saying,
yes.
listen.
Okay.
The Bills Mafia is
It's
hungry.
crazy. Yeah, it's crazy out there.
Josh Allen's hungry for a win against Patrick Mahomes, right?
Yep.
Like, for me, this is destined to happen. It was awesome last year when the Broncos were able to do that and snap that streak. I think the Bills have this all the way. They're at home. No way.
I know they lost Stephon Diggs, but the Bills' offense still seems fine.
Yes.
Khalil Shakir, #1 in yards after the catch.
Yeah.
Josh Allen is having his most efficient year pretty much
Yep.
since he started playing football. I mean, he was bad with turnovers everywhere he's went.
He only has 4 interceptions
This is the first
this
year we're really seeing him be careful with the ball. And
Yep.
even watching some of the games, the interceptions aren't on him.
Yep.
They're a receiver dropping them. It's like the Mahomes interceptions. But I think the Bills look good. I think Allen looks good. This is the game.
I agree.
I will say that this is a risky pick for me. Like,
It's
I do want somebody to put a stop to
It's a
the
tough
Kansas
one,
City
yeah.
Chiefs, but I just don't see it being the Bills.
At least it'll be a close game, I think.
Yeah, it will be a close
It'll be
game
a
for sure.
one-score, fourth quarter type of game.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to have to see.
That's what I hope for.
But you know what? That is all we've got for you tonight, Ram fans. Have a great and safe border war, and we'll see you next week.